Okay guys, let's do this. So 5 money lessons that I learned the hard way. Because I've been super stupid in money. Like you guys don't even know. For me, how I spend money, how I use money, everything like that. I've actually been really bad when it comes to money earlier. Well, however, I've learned a lot from it. So I definitely know how to manage my own money. That's also the thing, to know how to manage your money, how to invest your money, and also how to, gather it, how to spend it smartly, everything like that. So I'm sure one of you guys can relate to this video, at least to a couple of the pointers here. It's gonna be 5 mistakes you guys are probably making with your money. At least I was guilty of a couple of them myself, maybe still to this day. So we should probably just get straight into number 1. The first thing you should not spend your money on is to change your personality. Getting a little more technical here later, but as for the first one, do not spend money to change your personality. I mean, it doesn't mean like going these certain clothes, but it could have something to do with clothing. The problem is that actually a lot of people use money to change their personality. Or it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. You start talking to other people that has money, and you could change your personality in a positive way. I mean, if you're a master manipulator of your family or girlfriend, I mean, you should obviously get money to change your personality in that form. But it could go in a lot of negative paths as well. People could get arrogant, they could get cocky, and maybe they think like I have the reason to be cocky, and that's completely okay. I mean, if you feel like you've achieved more than other people, but you don't go around being cocky to other people, that's not how you should be living your life. You shouldn't look down on other people. And that's one thing I see with actually a couple of my successful friends, looking down on people. I mean, that doesn't mean they go around and say it to the face to the people, like, hey, you're a loser. That's absolutely not what I'm saying, right? But I see it on a lot of people, like they sort of inside their mind, they will look down on people that doesn't do this, or the people that follows that path, or the people that makes stupid investments. But this is totally up to them. So you shouldn't use money to change your personality. I find that super important. Do not get arrogant. Do not just change. Do not start all of a sudden you think you're a rap star or something, and you, I don't know, just thinking you're a rap star, getting supercars. That's cool, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong on this one. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with buying cars, buying clothing, or anything, but pretending to be something you're not, I don't think that's really the way to go. And I've seen people just starting to use cool words. I mean, I don't know, they just, everything with them changed once they get money. It's definitely not something you guys should do, and that is not a lesson I learned the hard way. I changed a little bit, but not like that. It was nothing crazy, not really any big problems. I knew there was a couple of things I should probably fix up in a little bit, but I never had any big issues of arrogance or anything like that when I started making money. Second rule of money that I actually did learn the hard way for once now, and that is spending it all. Because I mean, I've never spent all my money, don't get me wrong, I never spent all my money, but I spent a whole amount of money. As for now, I feel pretty confident in spending money, because right now I have better income than what I'm spending. I'm earning a lot of money, and it's just increasing every single month, so my business is really scalable. For me, as for now, life is looking pretty good. The future is looking good when it comes to the money as well, because it is increasing still to this day. So I'm not scared of my income next month. Everything can happen, obviously, but I'm not scared that I won't make money in the next year, that it won't just increase. So I'm pretty confident in myself in terms of producing money. But one thing that I've seen for myself is I spent a lot of money. When I made my first $500, I spent $500 on Gucci shoes, had $0 left, and I kept repeating that thing. I had $700, spent $700 on a hoodie, nothing left. Like, I was doing this all the time. So making that money, spending it back to zero, spending back to zero, just living like a baller when I was absolutely not a baller. That's a huge mistake. I mean, that could even be a rule itself, living like you're something you're not. So spending all your money is probably the stupidest move you guys can ever do. The other thing about it is when it comes back to taxes later on in the year, which I'm going to get into in probably rule number 3 or 4 here. But spending all your money is probably a really stupid way to do it, unless you're spending it smartly. But I mean, that money can be used for investments. You don't know what position you're in the next 3 months. If you're going to spend all your money on like a luxury apartment when you just made money for 2 months, how are you going to react if after 3 months later you make $1,000 less than your lease? You'll have a pretty big problem paying the rent and everything. So I just recommend you guys do not spend all your money. And it's you really want to spend all your money now, because you want to get that bag, you want to get that watch, you want to get some designer stuff. I don't know, but I've been there myself. But like, you want to do it, and I totally get it, because I've blown all my money before. But you don't do that. You don't buy drinks for all your friends just because you're out of town. People will eventually start taking advantage of it too, most likely. Not in every case, but I mean, some of my friends, I still look at them as good friends, even though they probably use me for money. But I smell it. People been asking me like, hey man, can I get $100 for clothing? I'll pay you back, and stupid stuff. Like, obviously you can't do it. And in the friend group, they'll obviously only ask me, no one else, because no one else is making good money, right? So don't treat your friends. It's okay to take your friend out on dinner and you pay for it. I have nothing against that, but that should be pretty rare. You don't do that often. And don't let your friends, make it seem like you're actually spending money on them. You shouldn't buy drinks for the whole table. I've done that a million times. Like, one time I just gave my card away to everyone saying buy drinks. Then that was not because I was trying to be cool. It had nothing to do with that. I just want it to be nice. I don't know why you shouldn't do it. And you might say it's always nice to be nice. Man, it's gonna come back to you. Just don't do it. Third lesson, I almost learned the hard way, but I took myself in it, and I was like, man, you can't do this. Just stop it. So that is not saving your money for your taxes. That does not mean avoiding taxes, but it means when the taxes hits, you have to sell your car or something. Because if you made 100K and you spent 100K, what are you going to do in terms of taxes now? Unless it's all write-offs. So that's something you should be super careful with. Because when the taxes hits you in every quarter, whatever your rule is, for me, I would have to set aside 40% of my money. If I started setting aside 30% of my money, I would have 10% that just gone. So I would have a huge problem when it comes to taxes. I'm not an accountant. I don't know too much about taxes. I only know for myself. So I can give any legal advice when it comes to taxes, obviously. But I do recommend you guys, don't blow your money when you know that taxes is coming. Prioritize taxes first. It's like family, family first. Taxes first. Taxes always first. If you do not prioritize taxes before you buy something, unless you're under the tax limit every year, you're going to get in huge trouble. So taxes it just has to be your first priority. I don't think you can write off everything when you're starting off. Just focus on taxes. If you're running an e-commerce business, for example, a startup, a dropshipping store, tax is probably not going to be your biggest problem if you just keep reinvesting all the money in your business. But the second you take money out of your business, you can get in trouble. So I'm not saying you get in trouble. If you know how to handle taxes and you're not scamming anyone, like you're a legal guy, you're obviously not running into trouble, you know what you're doing. But just be careful, don't blow all your money when you know taxes coming up, because they'll come and take your car or something. Like, you don't want to get in that situation. It's not too hard avoiding a taxes problem. The fourth thing that I want you guys to truly understand when it comes to, money mistakes, which is probably more like a personality trait. I don't know really what to say about it, but it's just don't brag about your money. Nobody likes it. Nobody thinks it's cool. And there are even like groups of young entrepreneurs just going to the club bragging about money. Don't do it. I made kind of that mistake, but I've never bragged about it in a bad way. Sort of, I didn't even notice it myself. And I've never been like, a douchebag when it comes to bragging about money. So I've never been that kind of guy. But maybe I've, done it just a tiny bit, but not in too much of a bad way. But I've seen people that makes money bragging about their money. Especially the people I see bragging about money is the people that don't have money. Teenagers with like expensive jacket and expensive shoes, and they brag about money when in their bank account balance is probably $40. That's probably, the broke people usually ones bragging about money. But there are some people making good money as well. And the second a young guy starts making money, I don't know if it could be for older people too. Most likely it's definitely is. But the second a young guy makes money, he starts bragging about it to a certain degree, and especially some of the things he buys makes him, arrogant. So he has this car after he bought his dream car, like let's say got a Porsche 911 or a Lamborghini. He's gonna probably start getting arrogant, probably start bragging about the money. And maybe sometimes, you brag about money subconsciously as well, which is almost like the scariest part, know what you're doing yourself. But just don't brag about money, because me personally, I don't think it's cool. And everyone who brags about money, like nobody wants to hang around them. It just takes the, respect away from you. Like if you don't brag about money and you have money, but you don't even mention it, you don't brag about it at all, dude, I feel like you're the coolest guy ever. If you can be like low key about your money, that's just that's mad respect. That's like, man, you're awesome. Like you're insane. That's what people are going to think. And then you can still get satisfaction of you being a little bit cool or whatever your goal is. Because if you're low key about your money, people are going to start talking behind your back, and maybe in a positive way as well. So you're going to be a little bit more like interesting when you're a little bit more low key about it. So don't brag about your money. It's just awful. Like nobody likes it. And but guys, it's the point of the video where you guys smash the like, press thumbs up on the video, and subscribe, please. The fifth rule on money that I learned the hard way, kind of. It didn't cause me any trouble, to say the least. I didn't get in huge trouble from doing this thing. But a thing that I probably should have done was, invest your money smartly. Don't just sit in your money. Don't just necessarily save it. And that's scary. When you made your first like $10,000, you really want to just save it or just sit on it, because it was so much money from you. Like 2 months ago, you had $0. Now you have 10K. So you obviously don't want to invest the 10K. You don't want to spend it smartly. You don't want to put it in stock market or whatever. I don't know where you want to invest your money. But you need actually to take your first money. And usually, I'm not saying that's the blueprint to success, but I'd highly recommend you guys, when you make your first 10K or 1K, whatever, and you just so much want to either save it, spend it on a jacket, or this place where you're most scared of investing money is usually when you made money. When you're at $100, you're not scared to invest $100, but once you made your first 10K, you don't want to spend a penny. And it's just, unless it's on a cool jacket or whatever. But do not be scared of spending money. Spending money, not spending on a watch. I'm saying like spending money on learning, on investments, personal development. That's one thing you have to do, because the money you spend on investing, even though if it all flops and you lose everything, if you keep feeding money to your investments, investments. If you keep learning, if you keep developing as a person, your money is gonna 10x, 20x, 30x, and 100x. You can make $1 million. But if you're just gonna keep stacking, do you even learn anything new, you know? So it's super important that you invest some of your money. I'm not saying invest all of it if you don't want to, that's totally fine. But Elon Musk, I've heard it. Don't quote me on this, but I've heard this. He made, I think it was, let's just say it was 100 million when he sold PayPal. I think it was 160. But let's say he sold PayPal for 100 million and he put 60 million in SpaceX and 40 million in Tesla, left with nothing. I've just heard it. Do not get me wrong. That was, you know, all in. And that's what you guys should do with your money as well. To be honest, you make your first 10K, blow it all away. Blow it all away. And investments, personal development. I mean, I'm not saying personal development like that. I'm saying develop your business, develop your skills, spend it on, I don't know, a course maybe. I have no idea. But spend money on that. Me myself didn't really do it, but I came from dropshipping, Facebook ads. So I knew what I was doing. I put some more money into Facebook ads. So honestly, I was investing my money myself. I put more money into Facebook ads, my business. I'm just saying, do this, spend it on whatever, but I highly suggest you just, the first 5K you make, for example, spend it back to learn on yourself, because that 5K you spend to learn yourself is eventually over a year or over a month. It could be even over a week. It's going to give you like a 10x return. Start making a lot of money. So that's the 5 mistakes of money that I don't want you guys to make. So if you're guilty of any of this, drop it in the comments. If not, just make sure to smash the like and subscribe. I would just be really happy if you guys subscribe, and you'll see me in the next video.